Hi, my name is Chris Brennan, and I'm at the United Astrology Conference, and I'm doing interviews with different astrologers at the conference in order to talk about what's going on and what work is being done in the astrological community today. So, joining me today is Dennis Harness, who's a practitioner of Vedic astrology. And Dennis, you're actually my first teacher of Vedic astrology when I went to Kepler about a decade ago.
Yeah.
So, what are you working on today, or what's got your focus today?
One of the things that I've been doing for about 25 years is putting on conferences,
Hmm.
primarily on Vedic astrology, but there's a lot of East-West blend at the conferences.
Sure.
And there's, as you know, a lot of interest in terms of bringing, kind of comparing and contrasting Hellenistic astrology with Vedic astrology. So my work has been really trying to bridge the Eastern and Western astrology and bring it into some kind of synthesis in terms of its brilliance in both systems.
Yeah, so I think a decade ago at Kepler, you and Dimitra George taught a class where you actually did an introduction to Vedic and Hellenistic astrology at the same time, and one of the things that brought out was just that there's many similarities between those approaches, and so there's a lot of common ground between them.
Yeah, and in ancient cultures, of course, of India and Greece, there was the Hellenistic cultures. There was a lot of cross-pollination that went on between those two great civilizations.
Sure. And that's sometimes like a controversial question, but for you, you feel like it's okay to acknowledge some level of at least similarity or cross-pollination while still sort of being true to and acknowledging the richness and depth and uniqueness and independence of both.
Correct. The importance of honoring both systems, but also seeing the unity and the diversity,
Sure.
and honoring both.
Sure. So one of the things that always fascinated me was how in Indian astrology you have the dasha systems, and in Hellenistic you have the Time Lord systems, and they work just functionally so similarly. In the West, we're only just recovering the Time Lord systems in the past decade or two, but in India, the dasha systems have been used for thousands of years.
Correct.
And you were part of the early movement to bring Indian astrology more to the West, and so you guys got a sort of leg up or a jump start on using some of those techniques in modern consulting settings. Were there any major, like some of the things we're coming up, running into are issues with, even though you can know something, it might not be appropriate to say something to a client.
Correct.
Is that something that you've struggled with using more predictive forms of Indian astrology, and how have you dealt with that over the years?
Yeah, I'm a psychologist that uses astrology is the way I like to put it. So I think it's so important how you frame things for a client, how you can deliver, the goods, so to speak, some predictive work, but use it in a way that really is a choice revealer rather than a choice maker for clients.
Okay.
So I believe really strongly, I call it chart side manner here.
Right.
The kind of manner you have and how you can present material. And that most great astrologers are really gifted in communication skills and in psychology as well. So I think there's a shadow side definitely to predictive work. And I try to keep things, again, more open-ended with clients and help the clients to discover really what is, ultimately their best path.
Sure.
So again, to me, good astrology, whether it's Hellenistic or Vedic or modern, is really helping the client take discriminative action in their life.
Sure, that makes sense. And your first book on Indian astrology was on the Nakshatras, right?
Correct.
Okay, is that still one of your main interests and focus in terms of teaching? Is teaching that the lunar zodiac of India?
Correct, because to me that was one of the primordial zodiacs that was really, it's dividing the zodiac into 27 segments of 13 degree and 20-minute segments.
Okay.
So to me, it's like this deeper level that I really resonate with. And I've been working with it for a couple of decades now.
Okay.
And find it to really be valuable in terms of not only some predictive work, but also showing the deeper psychological dimensions of Jyotish.
Sure. Brilliant. Well, yeah, I definitely recommend that book. What was the full title again?
It's called the Nakshatras, the lunar mansions of Vedic astrology.
Lighting, yeah.
Okay. What was the title? Sorry.
Sorry, the Nakshatras, the lunar mansions of Vedic astrology.
Okay, yeah, that's my favorite book on the Nakshatras, so I definitely recommend people check it out. And then finally, you hosted, was that the first time, it's not the first time you've done a conference, but last year you hosted a Vedic conference in Sedona, and you've done other conferences in the past, but is that the first time you're starting up this sort of regular series?
I started doing the conferences back in '92, so I've been
Okay.
doing it for 25 years, believe it or not.
Sure.
And what it looks like is going to happen again is that I'm going to be doing the conferences every year towards the end of November, after about a week after Thanksgiving. And what's really great about it is that we're having a lot of East-West dialogue at the conferences, even
Right.
though it's primarily Jyotish. And then what's really fantastic is we had about 200 people attend last November, and out of that, there were 100 people that I had never met.
Okay.
And a lot of them were young astrologers
Right.
and fresh new people that had been really, influenced a lot by YouTube channels and just social media. And so we see a lot of the energy that's coming in is just really fresh, and it's just kind of revitalizing, I think, some of the ancient knowledge of Jyotish as well as Hellenistic astrology.
Yeah, it seems like I've noticed in terms of YouTube astrologers, some of the Vedic astrologers are just doing really great work getting out there and promoting astrology and having really vibrant channels and followings. And I was actually really impressed last year that you invited a number of prominent or semi-prominent Vedic astrologers who have followings on YouTube to speak at your conference. And I think that's a great way of drawing in that younger generation of people where they're getting their information and their knowledge of astrology.
Yeah.
So was that a deliberate attempt on your part, or?
Yeah, I just, I'm an old school guy. I'm in my 60s now, so
Sure.
I'm still being pulled into the 21st century. But I just could see the pulse of it with so much social media. And, to me, again, some of the younger astrologers, to me, are just so much more cutting edge with learning techniques, and their love of it and their passion for it is much stronger than some of us older guys and older astrologers. So it was definitely focus for me to bring in more youthful energy, and Kapil Raj and Sam Jeppy and Dr. Pai and Eve Mendoza and some of these people that are doing great work, through social media.
Sure. Yeah, that's brilliant. And who are some of the speakers at the upcoming conference?
We have some of the featured faculty are Camilla Sutton, Joni Patry,
Okay.
Dr. Pai, Eve Mendoza, Jeffrey Armstrong.
Okay.
Also,
Jeffrey Armstrong did that famous YouTube video with that skeptic.
correct.
Right? Who was that? It was like Michael Shermer, and it was an old show like 20 or 30 years
Correct.
ago, and they did a blind chart reading, and Jeffrey Armstrong actually picked the right person. And I've seen this often overlooked by skeptic channels, but it was actually a really impressive demonstration of astrology, and it was by a Vedic astrologer.
Yeah, he's great, and then Sam Jeppy will be there, and we also have Mas Vidal, who teaches Ayurveda and yoga and Jyotish.
Okay.
We have a whole room dedicated to yoga and mantra and meditation that's going on during the conference for people that want to partake of that. And, it's just a fascinating group. We have about 200 people that attend, and we're already triple the registrations that we had last year at this time.
Wow.
So it looks like it's going to sell out this year.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I might want to get a ticket before it sells out.
Yeah, we should love to have you, Chris.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
All right. Well, I think that's all the questions I had. So thanks a lot for joining me today. Where
You're
can
welcome.
people find out more information about you or the conference?
Yeah, the conference, the website is just SedonaVedicAstrology.com,
Okay.
and my personal website is DennisHarness.com.
Okay.
Yeah, but the whole schedule is there, all the descriptions of the classes, and there's all-day intensives too with some of the featured faculty that I mentioned.
Okay. Brilliant. Well, people should check out your websites to find out more information. And thanks for joining me today.
You're welcome, Chris. It's
All right.
great.
Thank you.